The image of retirement. It's usually painted with sun loungers, endless books, leisurely strolls. Isn't it time finally stretching out before you? A reward for decades of hard work. But for so many of us over 60, the reality looks starkly different. Doesn't it? Your calendar fills up faster than it ever did when you were working. Committees, classes, volunteering, social engagements, helping family. Suddenly, you're busier than ever. You're rushing from one thing to the next, gulping down coffee, feeling that familiar knot of stress in your stomach. You might even find yourself saying, "I don't know how I ever had time to work." It feels productive. It feels important. It feels like you're making the most of this new chapter. But what if I told you that this relentless pursuit of busyness might not just be robbing you of the peace you earned, but could actually be slowly chipping away at your health and happiness? It's a surprising truth, isn't it? We think being active is always good. And it is. But there's a line. In this video, we're going to look at why this happens, the hidden costs of being perpetually overscheduled in retirement, and gentle ways to reclaim your time and energy. Stick with me right to the very end, because I'll share something that might just surprise you about living your best life after 60. Let's dive a little deeper into this phenomenon of the packed retirement schedule. It's not just you. It's a pattern I see so often. After decades where your days were structured by work, meetings, and deadlines, having a sudden abundance of unstructured time can feel, well, unnerving. For some, there's this powerful, almost instinctive urge to fill it. We've been conditioned for so long to value productivity, to measure our worth by how much we get done. Retirement can sometimes feel like a loss of that structure, a loss of that perceived value. So, consciously or unconsciously, we seek to replicate that feeling of being needed, of being productive, of having a full calendar that signals we're important. We're engaged. We're definitely not just sitting around doing nothing. There can be a fear of boredom, a fear of feeling irrelevant, a fear of facing quiet time and whatever thoughts might arise in that stillness. So, we say yes. We say yes to every coffee invitation, every club, every volunteer opportunity, every family obligation, every request for help. We create a whirlwind of activity, convincing ourselves that this is what a fulfilling retirement looks like. It's a habit, deeply ingrained from working life. And breaking it feels counterintuitive because, on the surface, it looks like you're thriving, like you're vibrant and active. But let's talk about what this constant state of busyness, this feeling of always having somewhere to be or something to do, actually does to your system. Particularly as we age, think about your body and mind like a well-loved engine. It needs fuel. It needs regular maintenance. And, crucially, it needs time to cool down. When you're constantly running at high speed, even if it's fun stuff, that engine is under perpetual stress. Physiologically, chronic stress. The kind that comes from feeling rushed, overwhelmed, or like you're always playing catch-up, triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol. While helpful in short bursts, elevated cortisol levels over prolonged periods can wreak havoc. It can disrupt your sleep patterns, leaving you feeling tired even after a full night in bed. If you're even getting that. Poor sleep, as we know, impacts everything: your mood, your memory, your physical recovery. Cortisol can also affect your immune system, potentially making you more susceptible to getting sick. It can influence blood sugar levels and even contribute to weight gain, particularly around the middle. Are you finding yourself more out of breath than you'd expect? Feeling inexplicably run down? It might not just be age. It could be the sheer relentless pace of your retirement, beyond the hormonal impact. Simply being too busy physically can take a toll. Rushing means you're less likely to move mindfully, increasing the risk of trips and falls. You might skip your regular gentle exercise because you don't have time after fitting everything else in. You might grab quick, less nutritious meals on the go instead of preparing something wholesome at home. Are you remembering to stay hydrated amidst all the running around? Are you carving out time for that annual checkup? Or sorting out those prescriptions. The very things that keep you healthy and resilient can get pushed aside by a packed schedule that prioritizes external commitments over internal well-being. It's a cruel irony. You're busy trying to live life to the fullest, but the busyness itself is preventing you from truly caring for the vehicle that allows you to do so. Mentally and emotionally, the impact is just as significant. Retirement is supposed to offer a sense of freedom, autonomy, and peace. But when you're overcommitted, you lose that. You're still living by a demanding schedule, just one you built yourself. This can lead to increased anxiety, worrying about being on time, about juggling commitments, about not dropping the ball. You might feel a constant underlying hum of stress. The joy can drain out of activities when they become obligations rather than choices. That pottery class you were excited about now feels like just another appointment you have to rush to after a volunteer meeting, leaving you feeling more drained than creative. Are you finding yourself snapping at loved ones because you're feeling overwhelmed? Do you feel like you never have a moment to just sit and be without thinking about the next thing on the list? That feeling of being constantly on, of never truly disconnecting, can lead to mental fatigue, a lack of presence, and can even dim your overall sense of contentment. It's like trying to enjoy a beautiful landscape while constantly checking your watch. The peace you looked forward to seems to be perpetually out of reach, hidden behind the next scheduled activity. This isn't the vibrant, fulfilling retirement you dreamed of. It's just a different kind of treadmill. So, if constantly being busy in retirement isn't the golden ticket to happiness and health that it might appear to be, what's the alternative? It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things, at the right pace, and for the right reasons. It's about shifting from a mindset of filling time to a mindset of curating your time deliberately, choosing activities that nourish you rather than just occupy you. It's about rediscovering the value of white space in your life, those unplanned moments, those quiet afternoons, those times when you don't have to be anywhere or do anything. This isn't laziness. It's essential for rest, reflection, and genuine enjoyment. One of the most powerful habits you can cultivate in retirement is the habit of saying no, or at least saying not right now, or let me think about that. For many of us, especially those of us who are used to being reliable and helpful, saying no feels uncomfortable. We worry about disappointing people, about missing out, about not being seen as useful or engaged. But learning to say no is an act of self-preservation and self-respect. It's recognizing that your time, your energy, and your well-being are valuable resources that need to be managed wisely. Before you automatically say yes to a new commitment, pause. Ask yourself, does this genuinely excite me? Does it align with how I want to spend my retirement? Do I realistically have the time and energy without sacrificing something important, like rest or time with loved ones? It's okay to decline gracefully. A simple, "That sounds wonderful, but I'm unable to commit to that right now," is perfectly acceptable. Remember, saying no to one thing means saying yes to something else. Perhaps saying yes to a quiet morning, yes to pursuing a passion project, or yes to simply having the freedom to decide what you want to do in the moment. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being intentional about how you live this precious phase of your life. Another vital habit is intentionally planning for downtime. We're great at scheduling appointments, meetings, and activities. But how often do we schedule nothing? Try blocking out time in your week specifically for unstructured leisure. This could be a whole afternoon, a morning, or even just an hour each day. This isn't time for running errands or catching up on chores. It's time to simply be. Read a book without a deadline. Listen to music. Watch the birds in your garden. Sit quietly with a cup of tea. Doodle. Meditate. Whatever quiet activity helps you feel relaxed and present. Don't feel guilty about these blocks of unscheduled time. View them as essential appointments for your mental and physical recovery. Just as your body needs sleep, your mind needs periods of rest and disconnection from doing. These moments of quiet can spark creativity, reduce stress, and help you feel more grounded and peaceful. Think of it as recharging your batteries so you can genuinely enjoy the activities you do choose to participate in. Let's also talk about shifting your focus from constant activity to purposeful engagement. instead of joining 10 different groups superficially. Perhaps choose 2 or 3 that truly resonate with you and engage more deeply. This might mean volunteering for a cause you're passionate about in a more significant way, or dedicating serious time to mastering a skill or hobby you've always dreamed of pursuing. When your activities are aligned with your genuine interest and values, they feel less like obligations and more like sources of fulfillment and joy. The goal isn't to fill every minute, but to make the minutes you do feel meaningful. Are you doing something because you feel you should, or because it genuinely brings you happiness and a sense of purpose? Regularly checking in with yourself about why you are doing something can help you discern between energy-giving pursuits and energy-draining obligations. Finally, cultivate the habit of listening to your body and mind. As we get older, our energy levels might fluctuate, and our bodies need more time to recover. Pay attention to the signals. If you're feeling tired, it's okay to rest. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to cancel plans that aren't essential. Learn to recognize the early signs of stress or fatigue. Maybe it's increased irritability, difficulty sleeping, or just a general feeling of being run down. Honoring these signals isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. It's much better to take a planned rest day than to push yourself to the point of exhaustion or illness. Be flexible with your own expectations and with your schedule. Retirement is the perfect time to practice self-compassion and gentle self-care. Your worth isn't measured by how busy you are, but by how well you care for yourself and how much joy you find in your days, whatever they hold. So, we've talked about the surprising truth that being overly busy in retirement isn't always the path to happiness, and can even be detrimental to your health. We've explored why this happens, the ingrained habits and fears that drive us to fill every moment. We've looked at the physical toll of constant rushing and stress, from disrupted sleep to increased susceptibility to illness. We've also considered the mental and emotional cost, the anxiety and loss of joy that can come from a perpetually overscheduled life. But most importantly, we've begun to look at the alternatives, the gentle habits and shifts in mindset that can help you create a retirement that is not just full, but truly fulfilling. We've discussed the quiet power of saying no, setting boundaries to protect your time and energy. We've explored the importance of planning for intentional downtime, creating space in your schedule just for rest and being. We've touched on the idea of choosing purposeful engagement over mere activity, focusing on quality and meaning in the things you do. And we've talked about the vital practice of listening to your own body and mind, honoring your need for rest and recovery. These aren't revolutionary concepts, are they in fact? They're surprisingly simple, and perhaps that's the surprise I mentioned at the beginning. The secret to a vibrant, healthy, and truly happy retirement isn't found in cramming more into your day. The surprise is that often, less is more. The surprise is that by slowing down, by choosing deliberately, by embracing moments of quiet, you actually gain more energy, more peace, and more genuine enjoyment of your life. You gain the freedom to be spontaneous, the time to nurture important relationships, and the space to simply appreciate the present moment. It's a radical idea in a world that constantly values speed and productivity, but it's one that holds immense power for us in retirement. Remember, small changes can make a big difference. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start by identifying one area where you feel overcommitted and gently prune it back. Schedule just 30 minutes of quiet time tomorrow. Practice saying no to one non-essential request this week. These small steps are powerful acts of reclaiming your time and prioritizing your well-being. Retirement is your time to truly live, not just run. It's your opportunity to define success not by how busy you are, but by how present, how joyful, and how peaceful you feel. You've earned this time. Don't let the habit of busyness steal the very peace you worked so hard for. How have you managed the transition to retirement? Have you struggled with feeling the need to be busy? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your wisdom could help someone else. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like. It helps others find this message. And consider subscribing to the channel for more ideas and tips on living your best life at every age. Live your best life on your own terms.